The coaches on your staff can be the greatest supporters of you in the player development role. Hello, hello, hello. It's time for the question of the week, and this week's question is, how do you interact with coaches in the role? As I said earlier, coaches could be a huge support. Now, I was able, when I came into the player development role, I had come from being a high school coach. And so I understood coaching and what being a coach is like. So did I have a leg up on it? Yes, I did. But here are 4 things that you need to do to interact with coaches. Number 1, understand what's being asked of a coach. Understand what's being asked of a coach and see where you can help. When I was in the role, I worked in college football, and our coaches were responsible for their position group, knowing the, for lack of a better word, content, or the knowing what's being asked of them. They were responsible for recruiting area. They were responsible for their players' academics. They were responsible for recruits and all that other information. They were responsible for communicating with parents, communicating with other coaches. There was a lot of things that coaches are responsible for. And so as I got to see this, after I sat around and saw certain things, there were certain things I could help coaches get things. I could help coaches or take things off coaches' plates or off their desk. And one of the things I did was any communication with campus, parents, schools, things like that. And so I go meet with a coach and say, hey, coach, I heard in the meeting that you need to talk to so-and-so's mom. I have a good relationship with her. I know you have this meeting. Y'all got to get ready for the game. Do you mind if I call her? Can you just give me notes that I need to know? You don't have to go super deep. But can I call her? Can I help her? Can I help you communicate with her or communicate with the father, whoever family member or somebody on campus or somebody in the athletic department? I will take that off of your hands. So understanding what's being asked of them and finding where you can help rather than sitting there like, dang, man, they doing a lot, man. I wish if he hit me up, I could do this. Nah, you go make it happen. All right. That'll go a long way. Trust me. And I'm going to bring this up. I had an interview. So when I went from the University of Houston to the University of Kansas, there was a coach I worked with at the University of Houston named Coach Dan Carroll. He's a co-defensive coordinator at Coastal Carolina. What's up, Coach Carroll? Hope you're doing well. And I didn't know that Coach Carroll knew what I was doing in the role. I just knew he knew I would help him. I would communicate with him. So I'm having this interview with Coach Miles at Kansas, and I'm sitting there, and Coach Miles goes to the restroom. He has to go to the restroom, but I see his recommendations, and they're in my sight. And I'm not going to go over there and peek, but I looked, and I saw Coach Dan Carroll, and Coach Carroll had 2 paragraphs. Like, it was like this much on a sheet of paper. Well, I guess let me not put my thumb there. This much on a sheet of paper about me as a professional. And that blew me away. Why? Because I never sat down and said, hey, Coach Carroll, this is player development. This is what I do. This is how I do things. He saw what I did. He knew I provided value for our staff. He knew I provided value for him as a professional, and I would help him. And he helped me get the job at KU. Thank you, Coach Carroll. I appreciate that. If you're watching this, or if anybody knows Coach Carroll's watching this, send this, Coach Carroll. Appreciate you, Coach Carroll. Once again, understand what coaches are doing and help them. Number 2, let the coaches know how you will help them. Let them know. You may step in and you may give them clear direction on how you can help them. Now, this is pertaining more to player development, to your role. For instance, I was at the University of Houston. We had a community impact initiative going between the coaches. It just kind of happened like randomly. One position group went to do some stuff at this local organization. And Coach Herman looked at all the assistant coaches like, so why is your position group going? Why is your position group not going? So I was able to go to coach's office and say, hey, coach, I know that you want to get your position group going. This is what I can do. I'll get with your players. I will help your players pick something that they will do. I will let you know what day we're going to go. I'll let you know who's going. And we will figure all this out. We'll get the pictures to you and everything. So I was able to go in offices and let coaches know how I can help them. Now, this could be any other thing. Hey, coach, when you bring that kid and recruiting, you may sit in a recruiting meeting and they may say, hey, I have 30 minutes. What can we do for 30 minutes? Okay, I'm going to walk in your office. Hey, coach, for that 30-minute time you have for that recruit, bring them to my office. I'm going to give them a player development spiel. We're going to talk about what we're going to do for them beyond the field. So once again, you want to communicate with coaches. This is your chance to talk about player development. You want to communicate with the coaches how you can help. And number 3, help the coaches. Help the coaches. Let them know how you can. You've already let them know, how you can help them. Now you got to help them. Coaches are about plans. They're about action. So you said, hey, coach, I'm going to help you this way. Do it. Help the coaches. Help the coaches. And then number 4, I talk about it here in this podcast, how to support coaches. Support coaches on and off the field. You know, when you see their position group, doing well, let them know. When you see, you know, they're human beings, right? There's discouragement after a loss, whatever, players may not be getting it. Just support them on and off the field. You know, whenever we would go to conferences, I would always get in there for the coaches and would talk. You know, one of the coolest things when I was at the University of Kansas, shout out to my guy, Coach Quan Drake, who coached the D-line. Coach Drake, I went in there with him. He had a presentation. I talked to him about it, and, you know, he kind of walked through what he's going to do, and then everybody showed up. I was able to take a picture. People were flowing outside the room, and I was able to send it to him, and he really appreciated that. And supporting the coaches. Like, I'm all part of the staff, too. If you're going to speak at a convention or a conference and I'm there, I'm in the first row. I'm handing out stuff. Do you need me to be a demonstration? I'm doing that, you know? And so support your coaches on and off the field. And that to me is the answer to how you interact with coaches. Coaches, yeah, you can get intimidated by salary. You can get intimidated by size. A lot of them play for, I'm about the same size, but some other people may get intimidated. You may be intimidated by how they coach, and some of them can get after people. You may be intimidated by title, but you need to interact with these coaches. They can be your biggest supporters in the role. Well, that's the answer to the question of the week. And if you have any other question about player development, check out the player development resources in the show notes. And you know what I always say. Hey, you know what I always say. Go out and create generational impact. Don't wait, create that generational impact today. Have a great day and God bless. Shout out to the coaches.